Episode 19, Carly Hughes-Horvath. You are a lifestyle and portrait photographer, film photographer.
Yes, exactly. You got it. That is me.
Got
it.
That
is I.
We've been talking. We've been going.
Yeah, we got a little warmed up here.
Yeah. We can talk about last night, 12 West. I went there.
And I was working at Isabel's. I'm working the door there now. I started on Friday.
Right.
Isabel's in Yaletown. Good spot. Everybody check it out.
Right on. Okay.
You were at Aura.
No, 12 West.
12 West. Sorry.
Yeah.
All the douche club names come together.
Yeah. Well, we talked about on the card. 12 West is way less douchey than before.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I went in there. I was like pleasantly surprised. I was like, okay, yeah. I don't feel the pretentiousness just slapping me in the face. So it was good. And it was less packed.
Maybe because it's a couple blocks off Yaletown. So it's got like that Granville Strip vibe where like you can be a piece of shit without money. Yeah. And then you got the ones with money there too.
Right. Yeah. No, it was good music and like, okay. So I wanted to tell you in the car, but I wanted to save it for the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, cheat code. I'm not as hungover as before because I took this pill.
Oh.
It's called Party Smart.
Oh, I've heard
Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I have.
Dude, it's fucking sick. You can get it at like a Body Energy Club or a Popeye It's like a supplement.
Really?
Yeah, it's FDA approved. It's nothing fucking fucked up. All natural. Dude, it's what you do is you just pop it before you start drinking. Like
with water or with your drink?
Well, I think you can do it with your drink too. Okay. But I just did it before with water, like 10 minutes before. And
Healthy.
And I woke up this morning not wanting to fucking blow my brains out.
Do you usually get hungover?
Oh, yeah. Well, a couple weekends ago, I had the worst experience of being hungover.
Oh, yeah. What was it? Was it this end and this end?
It was this end, like the top side, and like in like almost fainting. Because I was driving and I hadn't ate anything and I only slept like 3 hours. And dude, it was like every living moment, every living second, I wanted to like not live.
It goes by so slowly. I remember one time I dropped like this guy off at his place after we had like a little rendezvous. Yeah. And it was like a summer day, super fucking hot out, 1 p.m. And I'm coming over the Lionsgate Bridge and like the Parkway. There was so much traffic. The hangover just hits. I'm shaking and you get like that hot. Mm-hmm. I just rolled down the window and like puked all over the side of the car and like the Parkway. And then the traffic started to move. I was like, just get home.
Yeah.
Just get home. What do you do if you have to puke while you're driving? What do you do? Like, does that happen?
Either I've felt it. Either you just go or like if you're in a safe place, just pull over and just go.
But what if like, cause like, can you sneeze while driving? That's pretty dangerous, no?
Yeah. I've sneezed, but like it's a quick. I read this couple steps ahead, so I'm like, okay, if I
You're
do,
in tune.
Yeah, but no, man, it was. I always tell people now, like the lyric that Kanye said, "What's worse, the pain or the hangover?"
Yeah, I do. I like that one.
It's 100,000,000% the fucking like. I'm like scared. I'm actually scared for the hangover now.
I used to get so hungover when I was like 19 to 22 that it would be like puking until 9 p.m. shaking, not able to eat anything. Thankfully, that hasn't happened in a really long time. My trick is eating when I come home. When I'm drinking a lot, like in a party phase, like the weight kind of starts to add on because you got the calories from the drinks and you got like maybe the McDonald's or whatever you have at home. But that usually is my savior if I have something in my stomach.
Right.
That's usually my go-to. I've never taken a hangover pill though.
Dude, take it. And I'm kind of pissed off that I brought it up because I don't want it to sell out. It's only $3 too.
Oh, it's getting sold out.
Yeah.
It's getting sold out.
Yeah. And I took it and like this morning I woke up, I lifted my head. I was like, oh wow,
that's
no
the scariest
dizzy.
Part.
Yeah. I don't get the headaches or anything.
Oh, the front, like when it's pounding, I get that sometimes.
You get that? I just get the worst nausea and dizziness that I just want to like puke my guts out, but there's nothing coming up. Sometimes there is, sometimes there's not. But
I just finger fuck my throat. I can't sit there with the nausea. Like that whole thing is like too much and too scary. Like, when you have that first wave, when you wake up, you're like, I'm gonna puke. I just like get up and I just start like, and I have these fucking nails. And like there's like blood coming out. I'm like, just get it out. Just get it out. And then I go pass out usually for a bit. Or what I love to do is get in the shower sit down in the shower, even if I've done my hair, like everything's getting wet, throw on a towel on my head, and I lay in bed naked. And I'll wake up like 5 hours later, like my bed's all damp, and I usually will feel better. And then if I'm feeling really like about it, I'll rally and go again. I haven't done that in a while though.
Yeah, that's pretty vicious. That's savage as fuck.
That was me all December. December was really dark.
This December.
Yeah, because when was your birthday?
November.
And what date?
10th.
Okay, so yeah, that was kind of the start of it all for me because I had your event, your party, which I shot, and then I went to Montreal, I think, later that week or like a couple weeks after, and I got back at the end of the month, and I got back at 11 at night in Vancouver, and I had to be at the number 5 Orange like in the next 30 minutes because I was shooting their Move Something, which they have on the Thursday of the last of every month. Definitely the coolest thing I've done. Like I felt like a fucking rock star coming from the plane right to the strip club to shoot. But yeah, and then I just like started like a bender month, and then I ended up getting COVID over Christmas.
Oh geez.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember you posting a story of you getting off the plane, just going right to the club.
Went there, and I was like, because I had just come back from like a week in Montreal, like partying for my friend's birthday and like visiting friends because I used to live there. And I was like, I'm going to be good when I get back. Like, no more vape, no more this and that. And then I get to the club. I'm like, I'm not going to drink. And I'm trying to get better at it. But I'm such a stoner that, like, fuck what everyone says. Going to the club sober sucks. Yeah. Let alone the fucking strip club. Like, I could not. I was like, I get drinks for free. So I was like, Jeremy, give me a double vodka cran. And then it just, like, started, like, the next, like, whole month. I got booked for like some parties and stuff. So.
Okay. Oh, it's okay. You were drinking because it was like a work thing. It was
my life is like partying and
I
working.
I thought you just like spiraled out of control.
No,
You're just like,
it was half and half. I was not well. Like it was dark, and then COVID happened. I remember calling my mom. I'm like, this is all my fault. That's what you get for going to like underground raves.
Yeah.
So yeah, lesson learned. And then I kind of cleaned up my act the last couple months.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Well, okay, my birthday, that was a good time.
That was good. We had a party bus, and then we went to, it was an Airbnb, right?
Airbnb, yeah.
On fucking East Hastings and what is that, Cordova?
Oh, yeah, it was like pretty dingy.
No, the place was nice.
Oh, the place was nice, but like the area was fucking.
We had to come in through the Met's right here, the alleyway of the Met, and then it was right there.
Yeah, and it was like a fucking, all like.
What happened? You said they were mad.
So what happened was here. So I think it was a residential place. So I don't know if you were there, but like the cops came down through the downstairs and they were just like, "Hey, you gotta like bring the fucking volume down. We've had some noise complaints."
From who?
Right, and I was like, "Oh, like I didn't know people lived here." And then my buddy, Jake, he just fucking he storms in. He's like, "What's going on here?" And then the cops are like, "Hey, do you guys mind backing up? Like, relax," to my buddies. And then, they were just like noise complaints. And then the next day, the host like texted me. He's just like, "Yeah, I'm doing a report. Like, I have to I have to tell your side of the story of what happened."
To Airbnb, right?
Airbnb,
yeah.
Or, I don't even. It wasn't actually Airbnb. It was another site.
Was it This Open Space?
No, it was another one.
Gigster.
Fuck. One of the, I don't even remember.
I just used those like to rent studios for shoots because I did a shoot at the building next to you. They had like a yoga studio.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm like kind of acquainted with like these rentals and such. But did you have it overnight? Like, did people sleep there?
Well, we had it till like 1, and then.
Oh, then it was probably like This Open Space or something.
Yeah. It probably. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then, the guy was just like, "Yeah, it's like we have to like talk to like the fucking strata and like a couple cops."
No, you don't.
I know you don't.
No,
and
you don't. Like, it's done. It's over with. We're not having another party tomorrow.
Yeah,
like,
I know. And then I'm like, "Sorry for the mess." And then he's just like, "Yeah, it's a bit of a fuckery."
How bad could it have been?
I know. I'm like, dude,
some music. Cans. Go get yourself some money. Oh, I sound lazy.
It was just the noise, and I'm just like, okay, so I'm never booking with these guys again. They're never letting me book.
What's the $250 cleaning fee for? That's what we had a place in Whistler for Crankworks a couple years ago, like one of the places in the village, whatever, condo type thing. Like we're there for the weekend. There's a $250 cleaning fee. We put all the dishes in the dishwasher, made it look like presentable.
Yeah.
Then it was on my Airbnb account, which I can't use now because all the reviews are public. She was like, these girls obviously came here to party. No shit, bitch. Like, it's fucking Crankworks and Whistler.
Yeah.
And she's like, the floors were sticky. Oh, sorry. I thought that you were going to hire the cleaners with the $250 you took from us. I didn't know I had to go buy a bucket and mop and clean it up.
Yeah.
And they're like, it smelt like partying. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
We were.
What did you think it was? Like,
you're right. Like, you can look at my profile. You can see that I'm like a 24-year-old female. And I don't know. You always lie on Airbnb though, right?
yeah. But
now I can't use my account.
Because they banned you, like, straight up, like,
well, it has a bad review. It just so, like, if I'm trying to, like, rent anything else, like, other people are going to be like, well, she's going to party here and leave our floors sticky.
Right. Well, Airbnb is pretty sketchy, man, because me and my buddy, we went to Kelowna a couple years, like, before COVID, and the place we stayed at, it was completely different from what it was advertised.
They catfished you.
Dude, we literally went to a fucking, like, crack house, like, motel, like, complex.
No, that sounds very Kelowna.
Yeah, and we walked in. First of all, the door was not closing. Like, the door, we couldn't lock it. Second of all, the fucking window pane, like, to our room was, like, completely off, and there was a fucking bat. Like a animal bat just lying there, like, just, like, hanging.
Upside down.
And we're just like, okay, so there's a fucking bat out there, like, right outside.
The door doesn't close.
And the door doesn't close, and there's like fucking blood, like, on the fucking sheets, and it was in the middle of summer, and there's no fucking fan, and I told the host, I'm like, dude, there's no fucking fan. So he went and, like, brought, like, a box fan, and he's like, and it's, like, not even assembled, and you need, like, a fucking, like, a toolbox.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, that's awesome. Fuck you, dude. Like,
that's very Airbnb for you. We had that in LA. Like, they didn't have, like, any bowls or anything. And my friend Amani, like, bullied them into buying, like, a whole new, like, living set, basically, like, towels even and stuff, like a bath mat for the bathroom, like, so you don't slip and die when you're getting out of the shower. But yeah, Airbnb is pretty hit or miss. For our Europe trip that's coming up in May, we did one on Airbnb, and then we did bookings.com. We've done that in Miami before, and it fared pretty well. So they got some pretty good deals.
right.
So bookings, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think Airbnb's the vibe anymore, man.
No. And it's, I don't know. There's so many, like, I read the reviews because, like, the reviews are pretty telling because, like, sometimes it'll be like, the host doesn't even live in this country.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh.
The host doesn't even know what the place looks like.
Yeah. Back in the day, speaking of Crankworks, I don't know how my friends got it, but this was a long time ago. We rented like a cabin, and there was like 10 of us. And it was middle of the day, you know, we kind of woke up, did our McDonald's runs, we started drinking again, playing beer pong. And these people enter the house just like on their own. And they're like, what are you guys doing here? And we're like, what are you doing here? We rented this for the weekend. Turns out their brother rented it behind the parents' back to us. And they came up for the weekend with their keys thinking that they could stay there for Crankworks. And they ended up playing beer pong with us and left. And they're like, we'll talk to him. We're so sorry, you guys.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
That's fucking funny. Jesus Christ.
So yeah, Airbnb, I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I like hotels. I'm a hotel girl.
Yeah, hotels, you know, they get the job done. You know what you're getting.
Yeah, right? Bed, coffee machine, little mini fridge, maybe a balcony, good shower, some towels. They don't clean because of COVID. Well, maybe things are different now. So I've stayed in a few hotels since COVID happened.
Right.
Your room just stays as is for the whole time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's pretty annoying.
Okay. Yeah.
Living in your own filth.
Yeah, that's...
bottles all around.
Yeah, oh, God, yeah, the bottles and the cans.
The empties.
Yeah.
Just, like, not pretty.
No, the fucking smell, too. I just want to fucking die.
And you can't smell the party smell when you're in it.
Yeah, you can't.
You know?
You get, like nose blind to it.
And you can't open a window in a hotel.
Yeah.
And there's just, like, the AC is just, like, recycling running through. And it's cold and it smells bad.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So let's get... Okay, how did you get into photography? Because No, you had a corporate job. Apparently you told one of my friends at my party, and they're like, oh yeah, she had a corporate job and then she got into photography. I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I right out of high school, we graduated in 2013, we're the same age. I got a corporate job right away, and then I got pretty like accustomed to that life. I never really had like a serving job or like a random life, I like to call it. Like I was always like by the book, like 8 to 4, like get a nice cushy paycheck, blah, blah, blah. I did that. And then I'd always taken pictures. I always had a Tumblr blog. And then I started to take it a bit more seriously. And I started to ask random people off the internet to shoot because I got kind of like tired of like shooting all my friends. And then I made my Instagram account. And then it was always just like kind of in the back of my mind, something that I did, and I went to work, and I never thought that it would become like what it is now. And then I moved away to Montreal, kind of put it on the back burner, and I didn't have a job then because I was like traveling, living. And then I ended up getting the last job I had, which I had up until July. It was a really nice job. They were a startup, so I got moved up pretty quickly. They wanted me for life. I liked working there. It was good. But I just had, I don't know. It was just like, especially Instagram with stories, seeing people like out on a Monday afternoon on a walk. Like, I was like, why the fuck are you doing this? Like, why are you slaving towards like someone else's dream? And at that point, I had been getting paid like steadily from photos for like a year and a half or so. So I had some income from that on top of like my paycheck. And then I just like cut ties in July and like never looked back.
Right.
I just was like, I'm done. I was honestly like, it was just like super depressing. Like I hated it. I hated my life. I was like I think my life is meant to be so much bigger than this. I worked from home because I worked remotely from Montreal. Like I worked at home before the pandemic. I did it before it was cool. And I was so sick of it. It's so sad. You don't see anybody. I'm in my office all day. You know, you're in your sweats. You look ugly. Like start to miss like the little monotonous things, like getting ready for work, like the transit to work, like hearing people on the bus, like all of that. And I don't know. I was like, you know, you've always played it by the books. Why don't you stress about how you're going to pay your phone bill? Like, let's like just try. So I did it. It was scary. And what are we? Like, we're March. So July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. We're on 9 months and I still have a fucking place to live and I'm eating. Right. So everything's working out.
Oh, what the fuck? It's recent.
Yeah.
I thought it was like 2 years.
No, it's pretty recent.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, because I was always taking photos and like getting paid for it. That was like I was essentially working 2 full-time jobs. And I just felt like I was wearing myself thin. Like it was like work, like kind of just one mode. So yeah. And then now since quitting, I've been able to like sleep in, which I kind of got into a little steep of a bit. I have a routine now. It was a bit depressing, like without a routine, but no, it was a bit of balance. And yeah, I've never been happier. And I'm so blessed and happy to do what like 16-year-old me wanted to do on Tumblr, you know?
Well, okay, did you start like your content's all like very like, you know, like sexual and like, you know, is explicit the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explicit, honest, raw. That's what I think when people are trying to be polite when they want to compliment me, they won't say like, oh, sexy. They'll be like, it's so honest and like raw.
Fucking hot. Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah. Like some of the photos on my phone.
Say you have a boner. Just tell me. Like, I don't care.
I look at that photo, like I've seen photo, I'm like, fuck, that's hot.
You're like, fuck.
Yeah. So like, did it start, like, was that the vision the whole time or did you feel like?
Ooh, you know, not really. Like there was always like a sexy undertone, I guess, but I never really had anyone quite at that time that was like, I want to be naked or I want to be like this in a photo, blah, blah, blah. It was kind of like on the teetering of like appropriate, inappropriate. And then one summer of COVID 2020, it was like June or something, I met up with this like local model and we had some drinks at the park. And then we're like, let's keep hanging out. And then we went downtown and she's like, yo, my sugar daddy in Yaletown wants to have us over. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I've never really done anything like that. We were vibing and we went to his place and he's like, let's get some strippers here. And I knew who to call because I had been kind of like with these, like in that crowd a bit by then. So I make the call and a popular stripper comes and we hit it off. And she's like, would you like to shoot? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'd like to shoot. And then I was drunk that night. She's sober, but I was like, she won't remember. Like, she won't care like about me, blah, blah, blah. And then Monday came around. She's like, are you free tomorrow? Like, let's get it done. And I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Fuck.
Shot her. It never stopped after her. She, like, it just became, like, sexier and hotter. Like, because then all the other strippers or sex workers or dancers were like, I want to work with you. I want to do this. And then it just kind of, like, opened a safe space for them. There's a lot of male photographers that do that. I have my own opinion on that. I think if you're a guy and you only take pictures of sexy girls, fucking get lost. Like, start doing something. It's weird. I'm sorry, it's creepy. I don't like it. I just think it's weird. Yeah. Like, you have a weird intent behind it.
I have a couple names in mind, but I'm not going to
Oh, yeah, me too, but I won't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how that started. And then I guess in the beginning, I didn't, like selfishly, I was just in it for the photos. And then after time, these girls start to say, like, you made me feel so safe. Like, you made me feel beautiful. Like, I never felt that way in a photo shoot. And, like, it kind of was like, I was like, oh, you know, maybe this means something more than sexy photos and likes and shares, you know? Like, you are creating this safe space for, like, vulnerable women who want to be sexual in their own accord without being sexualized, you know what I mean? So it just kind of snowballed from there, and then I was like, you know, fuck it. I will be the sexy photographer.
Yeah.
But I do like to do other things. I love party photos and I love like street shots, but sex sells and it keeps a roof over my head. And I like doing it. I'm horny too. And I'm respectful and horny. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like most, like I feel like you're like the models that you take photos of, like I feel like they're really comfortable. With
You can see it in their face.
You can see it, right?
Yeah.
Like I can just tell from the photo. I'm just like, okay, there was no like... It was all out for this one.
There's like no male gaze behind it, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's almost like a shield in the eyes. Like with a woman, like I feel like in those photos when a guy takes it, it's almost like there's something missing. There's like something in between like the photographer and the model.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think with me, like it's like that I was in that moment.
Right.
Like
yeah.
you could be there too.
Because you're very comfortable with yourself too, though.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like if a female, if you like you weren't as comfortable, they wouldn't be
100%.
like.
Yeah.
It's like an energy thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's also because you're so like comfortable with your sexuality.
I don't care about looking stupid.
Right.
Like, you shouldn't either. Yeah. Like it's
so
just us.
they feed off of that, and they're just like, okay, so like, you know, Carly's a chiller. Like this is, you know.
I can spread it open for her. She's not gonna. Yeah, and like I'm not like a judgmental person. I don't know, like things, like something could like happen in a moment. It crosses like my brain for a second, but I like to like kind of take a pause and be like, well, why do they think that? Or like, why do they feel that way? Or, you know, why is that their opinion? Like there's always more options than just to one answer, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Like there's so much behind everything.
Mm-hmm. Was there ever like a shoot where it didn't turn out the way you wanted, or there was a little bit of like you know, because not every like there's better there's better ones than.
Yeah, for sure. I've
Right?
disappointed people. Like even like I can tell sometimes, and sometimes it is my camera because we are working with film. But yeah, there's been like a couple ones where I'm not too happy with them and I can feel that they're not happy. But what I say is like, when you shoot with me, like how many pictures do you need? Like for most of the time for these girls, it's OnlyFans or Instagram or their website or something like that. You don't need 20 pictures. You need like 2 good ones. That's it.
Right.
So as long as you have those 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's always the case, even with like Instagram. It's like out of like the 100, you're gonna find 1 or 2.
Yeah, like you don't need to keep reposting like this. Like I get annoyed when people do that. Like I need to see something new. Like don't post the same set like a whole bunch or whatever, you know?
So you shoot for OnlyFans like photos?
I do a lot of OnlyFans stuff. Yeah, that's why I was in Thailand.
Okay, so let's get into that.
So Jamila Cream on Instagram.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
She's so hot.
I know.
She's so fucking hot.
I know. And she's smart. She's a mom. She's like,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
She is a fucking woman.
She's
she's very intelligent.
She's a rocket.
And she owns a company called Passion Fruit Collective. So they essentially run a girl's or anyone's OnlyFans accounts. So the girls just kind of basically have to load in their content. So yeah, like she took like being sexy to like another level, like just like empowering other women, and like everyone gets a little buck off of it too. But yeah, we're friends. We're pretty close and we've worked together before. And I was sitting around in Harrison Hot Springs for my sister's birthday in February. And she sends me a message and she's like, hey, if I fly you out to Thailand, will you come like take pictures? I was like, yeah, say less. Yeah. So then the whole month of February was basically because I had to get a Thai pass with their COVID. So we had to send in all these documents. We had to do the test and go program. So like to visit Thailand during COVID times, I think it's over now. Basically, when I get there the first day, I had to go to Bangkok. That's where I flew into. And I had to go to my first hotel and stay there for the whole night and do a COVID test. And I had to wait till the morning till I was free. That's why I was calling it COVID jail on my stories.
Okay.
So then I got my negative PCR test. So then I went back to the airport, flew to Koh Samui, chilled there for a couple days. And on the 5th day, I had to go do that again there. So I had to go leave them, go to another hotel jail, wait for the PCR test. And then I flew back that next day. I was only there for 8 days.
Jeez, fuck.
Yeah, and you've seen the pictures; they're worth it. She told me because I had a busy month in February. I had a couple shoots lined up that I couldn't move around because one of them was a party.
Yeah, and
I was like, I can really only come the last week of February, and she's like, yeah, that's perfect. Like 8 days in Asia is better than 0.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Well, you literally went there just like to take photos of her.
Yeah, that's it.
That's so fucking dope.
It.
Oh my God.
And I've never been to Asia before. And I think like last night, people haven't seen me in a while. They're like, your Asia trip looked hectic. I'm like, yeah, because it was 6 airports, 4 COVID tests, like 3 different hotels. It was a lot.
Shit.
It was a lot.
Well, you get flown out like all over the place to take photos now, right?
That was the first one where I got flown out too.
Okay. But you've gone to different places, obviously, to...
Yeah, like I've shot in Miami, LA. I didn't go to Montreal to shoot, but I did like a little bit of stuff there. And now we're going to Europe in May.
Nice.
To do some shoots. So yeah, that's good. And we have actually... one of the shoots from LA in September is getting published April, so look out for that too.
Yeah, you got published a couple times.
Yeah, there's been a couple.
Okay, so I read a few of them. I don't remember what.
I have one with Prado. She's like a local musician. We did like this like super bloody, like with like one of my favorite makeup artists from Vancouver, name's Alex, like a special effects look. And I did put it on Instagram, but I am on like such a short leash with them, like with nudity, and they think I'm violent. Because one time I made a caption, a Kid Cudi lyric, like a happy ending would be slitting my throat, and they were like, "You need help." They're like, "Stop." And then I had the bloody shoot with her, so it got shadow banned. But that got published in like a punk magazine. I got published in this other one, but they fucked up my name, so I didn't even bother.
I saw that. I'm like, why?
And they called me the model.
How do you fuck that up?
Yeah,
it's so annoying.
It was submitted, like the model submitted it with like all the correct information, and I emailed them and I DM'd them, and then I called them out on my stories because like they're a pretty popular one. Oh, it's Naked Magazine. Fuck you. And basically. And I was like, yo, like get it together. And so I don't really count that.
Like it's so unprofessional. Like what the fuck?
It is. It's like, and it just, but you know what that goes to show? That these online magazine like publications, like there is so much content right now. It's like oversaturated. They don't care. They're just pumping it out for views and like whatever to get on their fucking website. So I just like cut a loss and like honestly, like that shit's cool and stuff. Like getting like posted by like verified accounts, but really just like brings you followers. I think if there's like no soul or meaning behind it, it's kind of whatever. Yeah. But I did that interview from Paris recently when I was in COVID hotel jail in Thailand, and that was cool.
Yeah.
Because that was like, he was like, I read your blog. I like when people are like, I checked out your website and like actually read it. I'm like, thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you did that interview in Thailand?
Yeah, in my day 5 COVID jail. Shit. We did it over Skype.
Right on.
Yeah.
Damn, that's like so much like anxiety. Like I would be so anxious. Like I'm in Thailand
I was zip tied
job.
I was zip tied into my hotel room.
Fuck, you know what I mean? Like you're essentially on the job and then you have to do an interview. Was it over the phone?
It was on Google Meet, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we did that and then he published it last week and yeah, I was pretty happy.
That's dope. So you have your camera with you all the time?
All the time.
All the time, yeah.
A real photographer always has their camera on them.
That's yeah.
I like, there's been so many times where I've left the house and seen something like a street moment and I'm like, you fucking idiot. Like, why isn't this on you?
Right.
Have that thing on you always.
Yeah. So I feel that's pretty cool because you found like your passion and this is like what you're doing and like this is your brand and your you know, your market, your market and stuff.
Livelihood.
It's like, livelihood, right? Like, I feel like now, like anything you do, I don't know, like, tell me if I'm wrong, but like anything you do, wherever you go, it's almost like you're in the mindset of like, okay, how am I gonna, like, this is like business, right? Yeah. Like you're going somewhere like with your camera all the time. Like if you capture a moment, like this is for my brand.
Yeah.
Right? Like for me, like now, like with this podcast, like I'm thinking of going to Osheaga and...
Oh my, we can get into that after. That changed my life.
Did it?
Yeah. Maybe we should go together.
Let's fucking go. Fucking ASAP Rocky. I'm so down. Yeah. So like usually like I would go to that. I'd be like, oh my God, like these artists. But now I'm like...
I'm here to get fucked up and like rave.
Yeah. I am going to get fucked up, but it's like, if I see them, if I get to talk to them, I'll be like, yo, can you come on the pod? You know what I mean? And I'm thinking of that all the time now. Like if I see someone like a celebrity or someone's famous, like first thing I'll say is like, yo, like I have a pod. Can you come on? Right. Yeah. Or like if I go to a basketball game, an NBA game and I get a player's attention, like, yo, like LeBron, like come on my pod. Like, not like the corny shit where it's like, oh, I love you, you're the best.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm always like thinking that way now, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Before COVID, we got invited to like a private contact. You know what contact is, right?
Yeah.
Like the big rave. And
you got invited like you for business for like.
This was my sister actually.
Okay.
She was like a big club rat. She got invited to a private pre-party for contact, and it was Diplo in Fortune's middle space, and it was house party vibes. Like, oh my god, my nipples are getting hard thinking about it. This was the coolest. This is one of the best things I've ever been to. We walk in, it's me and like my group. There's like maybe 15 people in the middle space, like the promoters and like a few guests, and Diplo just comes out, and like the DJ booth there is really low key. He's here and I'm just right here, and he's playing whatever the fuck Diplo wants to, not like his usual shit, like what Diplo was like meant to Diplo do.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a picture like how far away we are from that. Yeah, that was like pretty fucking cool. And that night I met Sega. He's like a rapper from Toronto, and we were talking and like shooting the shit, and he was like, you know, this is like your job now. Like when you go out, you're working. Like you're not here to party. Like you're talking to me right now. Ended up he went back to my place with his buddy. We made them turkey soup and we did a little shoot.
Damn.
Yeah. So like there's always like a little motive behind it.
Right.
But it's like a positive motive, because a lot of these people, even if they do have money, they don't want to pay for content. Everyone's cheap, right?
Right.
So yeah, you're going to take the fucking free film photo.
Right.
I think it's easier for me versus like you kind of have to have a conversation like, oh, I have a podcast, I'd love to have you on it. With me, I like when I'm at events or something, I don't talk to anybody because it's so loud in the clubs and things like that. I literally just do this. I hold up my camera ready and I point and I'm like this, and then they'll pose.
Right. So everyone wants to get their photo taken,
everybody,
right? Like
except for Jake Paul. He was kind of like he saw me and I could he could tell, I think, like what my motive was, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's probably so used to it. So that's why the picture I'm like under him.
Yeah.
Because I had to like go under him because he was like standing up on like the booth. Like he was standing up on the chair, and I was under, and I just like got it from under him. But then his girlfriend, like Julia Rose,
Julia was there.
Yeah, she sat down with me and we did like 5 pictures. She was like posing and shit, and she's like, "Thank you so much."
Do you have those photos?
Yeah.
Are you gonna have you posted them?
Yeah, I did. That was like in 2020, so they're like kind of old news in my mind. But yeah, and we did like a whole show about the Miami thing in July. So
shit. So how did that? I know you don't want to really talk about it because you've talked about it a lot, but like I didn't know.
Okay, we'll get into it. So we went to Miami, and I was there for a photo project, and it was 24 hours in Miami. So basically, like I time stamped a night, and it was like just like Miami fucking cocaine partying. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to say for 24 hours. So we like did the whole thing, and we went to live on a Sunday, which you got to do when you're in Miami on a Sunday. And we get there, and we had to like the whole club had to pause because Fat Joe's filming a music video. So I'm like, all right, this night's already gonna be good. And then Purple Miami, like that promoter, like grabs, you know, Hannah Ladd.
Yeah,
I was with Hannah. He grabs us, and she's not she's not in the internet world, like she doesn't care. And we get seated in this section, and I'm looking around, and then I see Jake Paul and his girlfriend, and then someone else from like the podcast, the vlogs or something. And then I text my sister because she's a big YouTube person, and I'm in my phone in the section, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm in fucking Jake Paul's section. And I look at Hannah and I'm like, do you know who that is? That's Jake Paul. And she's like, who? Jake Cole? I'm like, no, that would be a lot cooler. But no, we got Jake Paul here. And then I think he could tell that like there was a fangirl moment.
Yeah.
So he like points to the bouncer, then points to us. He's like, these two out. And I was like, fuck, that could have been like the end of like this project. And then I like sweet talked my way with the bouncer. Like I told him like, I'm here for pictures, like this project, blah, blah, blah. He's like, fuck it, go back in. And then that's when I got the photo. And then as soon as I got the picture, I was like, back to my section, blah, blah, blah.
I'm done.
Partied the whole night. And then they turned all the club lights off. And then Jake was like, we're all going to 11, like the 24-hour strip club. So then we went there with him too. And then next thing you know, I'm like throwing dollar bills next to him.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Damn.
He's a douche though.
Is he a douche?
Yeah, like I don't know.
Is he actually?
But maybe he can just like pick up like on like the sucker mentality. Like I'm almost leechy in that moment, you know? Like I'm only there to take a picture of you. I don't care about partying with you. I like don't. So
if anything, that's like that he should have like been fine with that. It's like you're not one of those like weird fangirls that are just like, wait, like you're actually just want to take a photo.
But it probably just happens so much, and he is so hated. He's like, where is this going to end up? I mean, like, we all don't like Jake Paul, but I mean, everyone's human, right?
Right, yeah. But like, he wasn't even doing anything. Like, he was just partying, right?
Yeah, I got my picture.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jake.
Jake. Yeah, he's a goofy guy. I would love to have him on the pod.
Oh, yeah. I think everyone would like that.
Yeah, he would blow it up for sure. So like with like, do you want to like, do you strictly like, do you think the sexual explicit raw content is your niche now? Like, is that where you're going for sure? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it is like the number one, like when you would think of me, and like, I love doing it, like I said, but I also do love like lifestyle photos and like club photos and party photos and like writing on the blog too. I mean, if there's always a way for me to like connect them all, which I think I'm pretty good at doing, then I'm okay with it. Like, I don't know, people can think whatever they want to about me and my work. They can be like, oh, she's just like a sexy photographer, or there's like a true few people who like I'm not even like friends with or whatever that follow me, and when I post something that's not sexy, they're like, I love this. They're like, I love what you wrote, or like blah blah blah. So, you know, there's always going to be like a crowd for everything, and I like to kind of keep my hand in all pockets. I bet. You're not limiting yourself to like one.
Yeah, and you know, crowd, like I said, if it's gonna make like women feel better or whoever feel better, like feeling safe, getting like a photo where they can look back on when they're old and like wrinkly and be like, God, I was fucking tight and hot. Then I'll do it.
Yeah, and your photos are like really well edited, right?
Thank you. They're barely edited because it's film. So I scan them myself, and I clean up the dust, and I'll play with like the lights. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like, I mean, there's that aspect where you actually have to be good at it. So like, and since you are, right, like
I'm okay.
No, you're good. Yeah, like we talked about like the limiting part, like with the pod, even like it's like I want to take it as many directions as I can, right? Like I don't want to limit myself to like one crowd and like one's particular niche, but like a lot of people are telling me to do that, but I don't know, it's tough.
I think like for example, for me, like in the back of my head, like I started on Tumblr, like I've always had this blog mentality, and like just like the age that we are, like there was like Live Journal growing up, you know, like off of MSN and stuff. So I think in the back of my head, that's always been like the plan. But when you're trying to find like your niche, you articulate it as you go. Like you try this, you try that. Okay, that didn't work for me. That worked for me. I like that. They didn't like that. And then it's kind of just starts like to snowball into what's going to become like your final product and like who you are as like a brand. So I think it just like takes time and like picking and choosing and like seeing what works and doesn't work. And then deciding what sits right with you at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like if your soul's not in it, like let's say I didn't like taking sexy pictures, it'd probably show in the photos. They'd be lazy. We wouldn't have that fucking awesome eye contact that I do with like the subject, like how they feel comfortable. Because if I show up to a shoot and you're ready to bear it all for me and I'm like, I'm just here for the paycheck, like I don't care, then it's going to show in the photo.
Right.
So I think soul kind of and heart is a big part of like everything.
Right. Because it goes both ways. Like it's like the model has to be comfortable with you too, right?
Yeah.
For them to like really put themselves out there.
I wouldn't have kept doing the sexy thing if it didn't work out so well. And you, like I said, like it grew on me over time, right?
Yeah.
So finding your niche is hard.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, I think actually one of my friends from school actually hit me up like, oh, hi, you know Carly Hughes? Like I love her photos. Yeah, and I wouldn't think you know her. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. So
the reach is real. Instagram is real.
It's real. It's fucking. That's another thing we talked about in the car. Like, it's fucking anxiety inducing, man. Like you talked about like how you get stressed out. Like you get so many messages you don't want to answer it. Like not because you don't want to. It's just because it's
overwhelming.
Overwhelming, man. Fuck. Like.
Yeah, I think social media, like a big thing for me is. Like everyone thinks they have, not just like me in particular, but everyone thinks they have access to you because you do have this Instagram account or Snapchat account or whatever. Like you're always open for a DM or conversation. Like a big pet peeve for me is even with friends, like unless you're like my fucking sister or best friend, if I don't answer you for a couple hours, don't send me a question mark. I saw it. I'm on my phone all the time. I saw it. Like, don't push me to want to answer you. I don't know. It's just, I think social media is kind of skewed, like, communication. Like, everyone wants it now. We want a response now. We want that message to be seen. We want to see those 3 fucking dots typing. But I don't know. You got to, like, reel it in a bit. And, like, you also have to set, like, a wall between you and people. And, like, some people told me that as, like, things started to get, like, a bit bigger, is people can't have access to you. Like, when I go on shoots, I'm super personable. And I've learned, like, kind of at the end, don't say, like, oh, we should get drinks sometime or something. Like, you're busy. Like, you have your life. Like, it's just, like, going to open and, like, this is professional. Like, just keep it professional. You know what I mean?
Let's just, like, do what
I'm here to do. Right. Yeah. And that's why I love working with sex workers, because they're on time. We're there for our hour. They want me out. I want out, and we're done. Wow, like, this isn't a hangout, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Like, we're working.
We're working,
yeah.
right.
We can have fun while we're doing it. Like, of course, like, that's how you feel so comfortable, because I'm opening up to you and you're opening up to me. But, like, let's keep this professional. And then organically, if we do become friends, we become friends.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Just, we can't, like, I just, like, with everyone, you can't, like what we said in the car, if you're giving 100% to 5 different people, what's left for you? You're, like, at negative 500.
And I read this somewhere where it's, like, acquaintances are meant to be acquaintances. Yeah. Like, you need acquaintances and real friends. Yeah. Like, it's not a bad thing. It's not like...
Not everyone has to be your friend.
Yeah, not everyone has to be, like, your close friend that you fucking see every weekend, right? Like, that's not how it is. And it's fine. Like, we need to, like, accept, like, it's just, like, oh, like, you're, like, you know, a guy that, like, did this for me once, and we're doing this, and then, right, like, like, we could say we could get drinks, and we can, but it's just, like... It's fine if we don't, right? Like, it doesn't mean I don't like you, doesn't mean you don't like me. It's just the way it is, right? Like,
yeah, I think language too, like, and how you talk about yourself and your work is important. Like, when I'm talking about someone, like with Camila, it's different because we are close friends. But if I'm talking to someone else, I'm like about anyone else, I'm gonna call them my client. Like, you're not my friend, you're my client. Like, we're friendly, but you know, like, you don't know my childhood trauma or like how my heart breaks, you know, like you're a client and I'm what would that make me? I'm the hired. Yeah.
Or no, for you. Yeah.
So you got to, like, kind of keep that language too, because we're also sensitive to language. Like, also, like, kind of off topic, but say, like, you were talking about your podcast to someone and, like, you feel a little bit, like, shy in the moment. You're like, yeah, I do this little thing. Like, don't say little. I do this. Like, I do this. I take pictures. I don't have, like, a little... I take, like, some photos on the side. No, this is what I fucking do. Like, stop saying, like, little or, like, yeah, I kind of do that. Like, you're doing this. I'm doing this.
That's funny you mentioned that. I get really uncomfortable when people bring it up.
I didn't call myself a photographer for a couple years.
Really?
I think I just started in 2020.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I finally changed my Instagram, like, business bio to photographer, because I felt I never had a right to call myself that.
Well, I think it's just because, like, you don't want to sound arrogant. Like, exactly. But it's not. It's what you do. It's what your brand is. Like, it's not, you're not saying you're the greatest photographer in the world. You're not saying the word, you're just a photographer. Like, it's...
Exactly.
Right?
I think because people are, like, we're at an age, like, being 26, like, this is kind of the time where people are coming, maybe they're still in the partying phase. They don't have something else going for them. Like, they don't know what they're going to do with their lives because, like, there is so much pressure on us, like, especially with social media. Like, you should be doing this at this age. You should be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. So I think that, like, it almost brings out an insecurity in people when you want to talk about yourself. So that's why you dumb down your language or make it sound smaller than it actually is to comfort that person. But you have to remember, like, save yourself first. Like, nah, this is what I'm doing. And you do what you do. And if you don't, if you're making fun of me or, like, clowning me for it, then fuck you, go get a hobby.
Right. You know what I mean? Because
I was, like, scared to start taking pictures and posting it because I was like, oh, what if everyone from North Van thinks I'm, like, full of myself or, like, I'm trying to do this thing? Like, then those are the people that are, like, in your DMs later, like, hey, so.
Right, yeah. And, like, why isn't she in corporate? Like, why isn't Mo doing corporate? Like, oh, he's just doing podcasts and he's, you know what I mean?
Like, what are you doing with your life?
It's just childish. Like, you should be, like, an accountant or, like, right? Married, you know, making, like, a lot of money, right? So, no, and that's the thing, like, it's cool because a lot of the feedback I get, like a lot of people just coming up to me and they're just like, oh dude, I listen to the podcast, it's really good, like I love it. So that keeps me going. So I'm like, okay, this is like something that's like actually like
makes other people happy.
Makes someone happy for like at least like the slightest bit, right? So, but yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it is a lot of pressure. But then when the ball starts to get rolling, and then you have someone you don't know compliment you on it, that like boosts you 1%, and then you feel more comfortable talking about it. I think the hardest part for me was like kind of talking about it in front of friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's easier to bullshit someone you don't know.
Right.
But then the people that actually do know what's going on. But I was pretty lucky that like from the beginning, everyone was like, well, I want to be a part of this too. Like, I'll help you. Like so many of my friends have assisted me on shoots. I work like super closely with my best friend, Layla. Mm-hmm. She styles like everything. We're going to Europe together. We did fucking LA together. We started together in Montreal. Like when we started, it was like for nothing. We like would meet random people and we'd be metroing and busing in like negative 25-degree weather with all our shit to go take pictures. Like, you just have to remember why you started too. It wasn't for the likes. It wasn't for random people to compliment you. It's because it like made you feel good here.
Yes,
and this is what
that's true.
Yeah, this is what I want to be doing. Like, and sometimes I feel that maybe I'm getting a little too full of myself or like on my high horse. I like bring myself back and I'm like, why did you start doing this?
I mean, rightfully so. Like you gotta give recognize the work you've done, and it's like fucking feels good, like nice
for sure. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, but like just like you have to like stay like humble yourself back down to like why you started. Yeah,
and people will like recognize that, and like because people like real.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
They like real. They like raw. And now, like, people love my sexy pictures, but like the people who put together my show, he was like, I don't want to see no more YouTubers. Like, I want to see you and your friends doing something. And I'm like, okay, yeah. So people don't want to see the fake shit. They don't want to see YouTubers or Jake Paul. They want to see like me and Evan on a fucking 3-day bender with pictures. You know what I mean? Just shit like that.
Right.
Yeah. Real life. People can relate to it better.
Yeah. As long as people can relate, that's the biggest thing, I think.
Relatability.
Yeah. Even with like with anything, honestly. Yeah. I mean, one thing I will say, like with the social media, like I don't post as much as I should be on this pod page.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives me a lot. It fucking concerns me a lot, but like it's just sort of like I need to do it more, but there's something like holding me back, right? Because social media is such a fucking, like, it's like if you're not posting, like you're not actually like, growing your brand, or
you're not like it's like, yeah, I always like to think like posting is like 1% closer to what I want.
Yeah.
Even 0.5%.
Is that kind of shitty though? Like, is that kind of sad how that's moving, like how that is?
Like where art has been put to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like doing shows and like traveling and taking photos or like shit like this. Kind of gives it a bit more meaning behind it, you know?
Yeah.
Something a little bit more lasting than, because Instagram could get deleted tomorrow. Like I get threatened to get deleted all the time. And then when that does happen, I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe I should play by the rules, because if I did lose this, I'd be pretty fucking upset. Like, I have 6,500 and I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that's a lot of people to me. Like, I remember when I hit 3,000, I was like, no way. And then 5,000 came, and now I want to get to 7,500, but no, like, it's cool. But it's sad that it does matter at the same time. You know what I mean?
That's true though. Like, what if Instagram just went off the fucking face of the earth? Like, we would be fucking lost. Like,
I have to start posting on Facebook.
Yeah, right.
I only have my family on there.
True, dude. Well, the thing, the photo you took of me at the party with the
puking.
No, not the puking one. The one in the bus where like I'm like
with Flo.
Yeah. Where like her leg is up and we're all just like staring at it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I posted that for like 10 minutes. My mom, she follows me. She's just like, Mo, what the fuck is this?
Mo,
and, like, from the other room, I'm like, yep, it's going. Because I was already on the edge of like, I was like, fuck, should I post it? It's pretty like on the line. And then I just hear, Mo, what the fuck? And I'm like, yep, scroll, fucking delete it.
Yeah.
And I coach kids,
the kids,
right?
yeah. My family follows me on everything, and they they like my dad likes anything I post, even if it's like a sexier photo of me. My dad's not weird at all. I think he just wants to like show his support.
Yeah.
And they came to my show, like it's fucking called 24 Hours in Miami. They know, they read my blog. Like I remember the first blog I put out, my dad texted me. I was like a little bit nervous, and he was like, "You have a gift, like you're really good." And I was like, "Oh, phew."
That's awesome.
I was like, "Okay, good."
Yeah.
And they know that like I shoot all the strippers in the strip clubs, and they're cool with it. My grandma sometimes gives me shit.
Yeah.
But, I'm not gonna change a 75-year-old woman's mind on what's right or wrong.
Yeah.
So I just laugh and like kind of take it with whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes she is a little bit right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they've been through enough to know what's.
But things are changing, and. Because, like, I don't know, when I was doing door at Shakers in Surrey, the strip club, she was like, "Why are you doing that? Blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "It's not that big. It's a job. Like, I'm working the door. Like, relax."
Yeah, like you're gonna.
They worry for a reason, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And your mom was probably thinking, like, what if the kids from your basketball team see?
And it's just like not a like class. It's like, what is not classy, but like kind of like.
Not the norm.
Not the norm, and like, all my other photos were like. Not like that,
clean
so
cut,
clean, like right. So it's just like whoa, when she likes everything, she doesn't give a shit. That's the thing. So when she did give a shit, I'm like, okay, this is real.
You gotta respect it.
She didn't care before for anything I ever posted. So
sorry, mom.
Yeah,
sorry, mom. That was me.
No, that's all good. So, I mean, we've pretty much. Alex just gave me the 5-minute warning. So what's next? Like, what are your goals with this? Like, are you? Like, is there someone in particular you want to shoot? Like, who's one person?
Oh my God, Doja Cat. That's like been the big thing on my mind. Like the last like year is like she gets bigger. I just think her and I would fucking blow it out of the park. Okay. I'm obsessed with Doja Cat. I think we would just work super well together. But as for the future, you can see me on 420 for Burb. They're announcing it tomorrow, The Best of Life. It's going to be a photo show here in Vancouver on Commercial. And it's photos of lifestyle in Vancouver pre-COVID. So I'm in that. And I'm also in, this is pretty exciting, and I'm going to say the name of the city wrong, Japan, Kyoto. What is it? How do you say that name?
Is this a person?
No, the city.
Oh, Japan. I don't know. Kyoto.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm in their photography festival in April. So I'm in there as well.
Shit.
Yeah, so I'm in two galleries coming up, so that's pretty exciting. And then my Europe photos, look out for those too, and my publication coming out.
Fucking right. I'm gonna keep supporting because I love it. And
thank you.
I'm definitely you need to come out and like shoot more.
Okay.
Because I just want the photo.
We'll get more mom aggravating photos.
Yeah, that's all I need. This is Enjoyour24, episode 19, Carly Hughes-Horvath. What are your socials? Because
you can find me at carlyhughes-horvath.com, Carly Hughes-Horvath on Instagram, and I Puke Pink on TikTok for the cringier version of myself.
The cringier the better.
Cringier the better, honestly.
Cringier the better. This is Enjoyour24. Thank you for listening. Peace.